Welcome back, everybody. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Aaron.
This is our show, Crypto Cosm, where I talk about the astrological forecast.
And I bring you more of that worldly crypto news.
And as always, so much to talk about.
There is.
It's been intense.
It's
been an intense week that over this weekend kind of just went, I call it the pinched hose effect. You know, where it's like the universe is over here pinching this hose, which is, whatever, your brother, your sister, or whoever, that kid around the corner.
And you go down to look at it?
Look at like, what's going on? And all of a sudden they let it go and you get a face full of water. That's what this is, and this water is this emotional turmoil. Not only that, but it's Venus. It's our money. It's our money, our wants and desires. It's been up there in Cancer, and when things go into Cancer, they go hidden for a little while. Thank God it's moving out into Leo on, the 13th.
Tell me more about that.
There's going to be a new moon on the 13th.
I'm always down with the new moon. Always down with the new moon.
Yeah, that's soon. So new moons usually are, we talk about these, they're usually good things, but there's always astrological events that happen that can make them, we say good things, they're new beginnings. They're always new beginnings. But what I'm talking about is our crypto market. We usually do see little bumps. In this particular new moon, we have very interesting aspects happening from the bigger planets. As it's moving into Leo, as Venus is moving into Leo, on the same day is this new moon in Gemini. And that Venus in Leo is making a square over to Uranus, which just moved into Taurus, which we've been talking about for the entire year, right? So, and it's also opposing Mars up in futuristic community Aquarius, all right? So Mars is up there and let's get stuff done. Venus just moves into fiery passion, creative money. Fire, passion, creative money with Uranus breakthrough of money. So it's like, now in traditional astrology, squares and oppositions are hard angles. They're hard angles to deal with, right? Things that need our attention, things that need to be focused on. And they're not always easy aspects. With this particular one on the new moon, I think it's very interesting as these are, where are we? We are in the middle of changing money. We're in the middle of changing our entire infrastructure of money and the government as we know it. This is not an easy thing to do, right? But it's
big.
A necessary thing to do. So when we look at this hard aspect, but what's happening is we're coming into a fiery, passionate love for a unique, different, obscure way of dealing with money. That is
kind of fits the bill.
That is the Uranus and Taurus square to Venus over there in Leo, and it's like coming up with new creative ways to do these things. And it's like, what do we have across the way here is Mars wanting to get things done into the futuristic technological side of Aquarius. So this is a really interesting new moon that's happening. And as well as we've had this grand trine, we've been talking about for 2 weeks now, this grand trine of Venus, which has moved through, that's the pinched hose we're talking about. Once it left that grand trine, that pinched hose went boom. And then all of that stuff came to the surface. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever it is that's going on in your life, it's going on in everyone. Everyone that you know is like, oh, I don't know. I felt the overwhelmedness of the world.
A lot of weight.
A lot of weight, right. And it was just like that trine, that safe structure, and then it broke free, and then that opposition to Pluto. And when it made that opposition to Pluto and then moved on, it's like, we have to reevaluate the things that we wanted and desired and the things that we loved and even the value of money and as well as relationships was coming up. A lot of relationship stuff coming up. I know it's not a relationship show, but let's be honest, this is more than just money. This is about life as well. And that's free. And now we have Mercury doing the same thing. So we're going to get a taste of this happening 3 times. First was with the money and the desires. Restructure, rethink it, transform it, and make it something bigger than what you ever thought it was possible to be. That's what crypto is. It's restructure, rethink, and then this trine is to Neptune and to Jupiter, which is think bigger. Go bigger than bigger than the ideas on blue paper. Bigger, let's go dreams. Bigger than dreams. It's like that's where we're at. It's go bigger. And now we're gonna have our communication, Mercury going there. And then on the 15th, it makes its opposition to Saturn. So on the 15th, we're already gonna have that rethinking, restructuralizing the way that we're trading. Okay, trading, moving money, and then eventually the sun's going to move into what, on the 21st? It'll move into Cancer, and then it's going to start to make its opposition to, So we're going to see this 3 times happening. But let's back up and talk about this for a second. Let's relate all of this to the crypto world, because I know most of you think I'm a kook, but that's fine. The good kind of kook. So, what does this mean in the crypto world? It means we're restructuralizing and we're rethinking and we're reevaluating and we're transforming our money into something that seems so radical right now. But that's going to be the normal in the future.
That's fantastic. And, normally on this show, I really try not to regurgitate and just show the screen and just sit here and read the words to you that many of you probably even read on your own, or, maybe you subscribe to us just to get the daily dose. We try to get the good stuff that comes to the top. But this one in particular, I am going to read verbatim, word for word, and I'm also going to post a link down here in the description if you guys want to read the full article. So the CFTC, the Commodity Future Trading Commission, for those of you who don't know, it's like the SEC and the CFTC are the big ones that regulate all the stocks and bonds and this and that and the other. The commissioner came out publicly, and this is what he said. Mr. Benham, the commissioner, stated that virtual currencies may/will become a part of the economic practices of any country, anywhere. Let me repeat that. I'm still reading the words. I'm not repeating it because I want to repeat it. I'm repeating it because he actually, the descriptions in the comments. The comments in the description. There we go. Let me repeat that. These currencies are not going away, and they will proliferate to every economy and every part of the planet. Some places, small economies, may become dependent on virtual assets for survival, and these currencies will be outside traditional monetary intermediaries like governments, banks, investors, ministries, or international organizations. Boom. This is where I would drop the mic if I was holding it. But that's...
Throw something. Now,
we've come a long way from... we've had so many individuals from Warren Buffett and J.P. Morgan come out and saying, this is the sham.
It's a hoax. It's a fad.
It's going to die in 5 years. None of these are going to be alive.
It's
and
Beanie Babies and right.
Beanie Babies. Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
Exactly. Pogs. Yeah. Whatever the fad is.
And now they're saying, what some of you, probably most of you, the early ones have already known, have known all along, is that the technology...
It's here to stay!
It is. China really tried to knock it down from the very get-go with their great firewall. And just so many things that we're seeing that cryptocurrencies has overcome. It's now becoming undeniable in the public's eye, which is fantastic.
It's like the dragons in Game of Thrones. It's like dragons aren't real. And then it's like, oh man, I'm just assuming all of you watch Game of Thrones. Sorry.
If you don't,
dragons are real.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah.
But that's huge. My jaw dropped when I actually saw that one. I've been waiting for individuals in power to be able to come out and say these types of things to the public. And that is going to create a lot of confidence in the market going forward. If the SEC and the CFTC and the president of who knows what where are all going to say that, this is a joke, don't get involved. Who's going to want to stick 10, 20 million, 30 million, or $1 billion into any of this? So we're really paving the way for the institutional money to come into this marketplace.
And then when you have these folks as well looking at the numbers, just the black and white numbers of what was it? I don't remember off the top of the head, but
what was what? I'll tell you.
The percentage that Bitcoin growth over 2017 compared to every other stock market.
1,000% from 2017 to 2018. We started at, I think it was just under $1,000. I'm sorry, 2,000%. So we went from 1,000 to 10,000 in 10 months, and then the next month went from 10,000 to 20,000. So it was 2,000%.
And then what was the closest, like the highest stock somewhere
Rated
around?
to the highest stock growth was 400%.
Like you can't.
That's 5 times
That's like it's Bush League.
faster.
Bush League.
But that's really the world we're almost entering in. It's almost like we've reached the point where you obviously walk into a store, you buy a computer, you bring it home, you set it up, and then you get the email because you've signed up to that store wherever you bought, like Best Buy or Micro Center or this, that, or the other, saying that, hey, we got a special on the new PC that just came out. It probably is like a couple dollars cheaper than the one you just bought, and it's 3 times faster. I mean, this is where we're at. And we are doubling that CPU power, every 12 or 14 months now? I mean, it's insane, the growth rate. I mean, we can't... for consumer use, it's going faster than we can even use it.
It's true, and one of the things is interesting as well that we're going to see, once 2018 ends and we move into 2019. Obviously, we're still a ways away, but is the growth in the number of how many coins and tokens have been developed this year. So, and so many people say, when Limbo, when Moon. Well, when we have double the amount of coins that we've had in the past year as well, but we're gonna see a lot more numbers come into this year as well. But we have more, it's like the Plinko machine. There's more avenues to dump it in. So the more coins that keep coming out and tokens that keep coming out in years to come, that's going to slim the chances. Like, oh, I put all of my money into this one and hoping, and this one is going to be the one of the future, and this is going to be the next Bitcoin for me, and I'll get my Lamborghini, and I'll have the house and the yacht and the vacation home and all these things. Well, again, yes, tons more money is absolutely going to be coming into this pool, but again, with so many small little sections creating, it's going to be interesting to see what those actual numbers turn out to be. And who is, if any, coin is going to hit that 20,000 mark next?
So that's going to be a killer, man. I would love to see what happens. So let's talk about that. I know we didn't, but I would love to throw this in here because I think it's probably more fascinating than some of the other things. So we talk about these peaks that we've had, and I mean we look at Bitcoin and we've gone from like $5 was like, I mean when Bitcoin hit like the $5-6 mark. That was one of the biggest blips in Bitcoin history in the beginning. Then we got closer to, I think, 15, and then 60, then 240, then 500 to 600, then 900 to 1,000, then 10,000 to 20,000. Yeah. So if that gives you an idea of the progression or the slope that we've actually ran over the course of the last, 9 years or so? I mean, from 1,000 to 20,000, the next gap, I mean, it's anywhere from averaging those out, we're looking at 40 to 50,000, just playing on an average of the last bumps. Now, what's interesting to me is when we shot up to the $20,000, what was happening? I mean, places like Binance shut down. They're not taking any more members. Exchanges are locking up and freezing up due to the mass volume of trading. Like, we literally maxed out the resources to be able to purchase crypto and trade crypto.
Yeah, servers were like melting down.
Beep, 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 beep. With
I don't know if we can handle
vengeance. And now how many exchanges do we see open? I don't even know how many more. I mean, I go and I see a new coin that I want to buy, and it's on like 4 different exchanges that I've never even heard of now. And it's the amount of exchanges that are out there. I mean, granted, I used to think I was like, well, what do we do with all these exchanges? But now, I mean, obviously, as the commissioner of the CFTC has spoken, it's going everywhere, and the infrastructure needs to be there in place to support that. So that's why we talk about these things when we're talking about the supporting growth and global adoption and things like that. All of these steps paving way to give way to even handle the masses and where we're going is just fantastic to see. It really is. We've got so many new mainnets. Speaking of launches that we've had, we just had EOS.
Love them.
EOS just launched. Now they had a couple issues over the weekend, and I want to speak directly to the price of EOS. Now we did shoot up. We were skyrocketing for a little while. It did drop down a bit, but we were maxing out at about $14.50 up until about 2 to 3 days before the news, guys. This is the pattern that I have realized. I am not a financial advisor by any means, shape, or form, but it seems like if you're going to get into the rebrandings and the mainnet launchings and you're trying to flip those coins and make that buck, 2 days is when everybody is selling off.
2 days after the launch.
2 days before the launch. Before the launch. For Lisk, the Lisk rebranding, when we went up to, I think, what, $33, $34?
Around there, yeah.
2 to 3 days. And for me personally, if I'm going to be doing that trading, it's going to be day 3 before. I don't want to try and mess in and get in there when everybody's, starting that landslide and I start seeing that red line go beep. No, I want to get in. I want to get in before that and play it safe.
So when you hear the news of a rebranding, it's like that's a good idea to jump into that now, and then 2 days, 3 days before the actual rebranding, sell it off.
Yeah, for me personally, my rule of thumb now is about 30 days before the actual happening. So what we got Tron coming up, we got Zilliqa, things like that. Just even if you're not going to trade, just watch the price going up to. I mean, we got Tron mainnet in the
Tron's interesting
21st.
one. I'm really curious to see what happens with them.
Justin Sun is a superstar.
I'm curious to see who's gonna hold on to that though. Because I feel like everybody wants that 30 cents again.
Well, and man, that happened overnight, over 3 nights. I mean, it was so fast. I just don't know what it's going to be like after all of these exchanges are now open and the liquidity of these coins are, 20 to 30 times greater than what we had in November and December. I mean, we had, I don't know how many places, Coinbase and things like that, just stopped accepting new members. You couldn't trade, you couldn't get in. It was like a raffle when they launched. Oh, we're accepting 5 million new members. Take a number. Thank you. Wait in line. We'll be with you whenever we can. That's just how it was. It was crazy.
It's like that long list at the end of Beetlejuice. He's sitting there and he's just got this list that goes for days. He's like, wait, what number are you?
Yeah, no doubt.
For your daughter.
People are riding in the streets to get their cryptocurrency. Who knows what it's going to look like during the next rush? It's going to be insane. But the infrastructure is there. The infrastructure is being built for that institutional money.
Right. And we're in a serious point where that it's like reevaluate, let's look at things, let's try to move forward, but we're not really going to be moving forward yet. And that's the weird thing, like there's so much loose ends to button up, it's like this dress is still being sewed and hemmed and all of these things before it's going to make its red carpet premiere, really, and that's coming, but it's not coming until kind of the fall. We're gonna do an astrology deep dive, and we're gonna talk about those like super dates coming up really soon, though.
Well, I got a chart right here, and I think we're gonna put it up on the screen.
Bing!
Right here. So let's talk about this real quick. Did a little bit of transactional analysis to see where we were at. So if you can see, we have this red line shooting across the screen right now. Now we've got 4 points where this trend line sits, and it sits right at about $6,400. And I think last I looked before the show when we were shooting this, Bitcoin was right at 675-ish. So this trend has stayed steady since I believe November. So I mean it's a pretty rock solid line, and we've touched on it several times. This last one just being where we're getting up to just now. So it's going to be interesting. I think if we drop below this 6,400, we could see another dip down, and we would have to reevaluate after that. But if we stay steady, we have an upwards trend line coming over And we see these the upward and the downward trends with the green lines that we're going to see intersecting at the end here. And this is where you see the possible little rocket ship. And these intersections aren't going to come across each other until late August, early September. So, you know, we've talked about that bouncing ball coming up at the peak and we drop it. And now you're starting to see where this ball is losing momentum, but it's hitting the ground at the same place. Now, this pattern has been repeated over those points that we've talked about in Bitcoin at the $60 range, the $240 range, the $500 to $600 range, the $1,000 range. We have a very, very, very similar pattern if you guys go back and check out the history of the major breakouts that we've had for Bitcoin. So if we don't see it dip under 6,400, I think we have a really good chance at seeing this trend continue. And I think a lot of these things we're going to find out are going to line up with some of these dates that we're cooking up here soon.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, when you say 6,400, it's like that makes me think of the eclipse that happened. We had one on January 31st.
It was a beast.
And one on February 15th, and it's just like, you know, the cannonball. Okay, the eclipses are like the cannonballs. It's going to take a little bit before the lady on the side reading her paper gets wet. Okay, it's there's the impact, which is the day of, and just like what happened last August, we had the great eclipse, and then we had the greatest flood right afterward in Texas and in India. July's got 3 eclipses coming up. You know, that full moon eclipse in February 15th, that's what, I think 1 to 2 days after that, when the splash hit, you know, that's when it dropped to 6,000 and change. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. You know, it's July's going to be, this is a really easy month in astrology land. It really is. This is a fresh of breath air, and there's still a lot happening, which is weird. July's gonna be wild. July, August. So we'll see.
We're definitely gonna keep this chart up to date. We'll flash it here in the next couple of weeks and check out our progress and see where we're at. But I think 6,400 is gonna be one of those numbers to watch. If you guys are holding, trading, et cetera, keep that in mind. Of course we would love to just stay up there at the moon. But for now, I think I'll be satisfied with staying above 6,400. Unless you guys are trying to buy some more on sale, which is, hey, you know what? I'll drop down a little bit for all of you guys.
July buy-in month.
Absolutely. We got a clearance going on right now.
Let's do it.
What do you think?
True wisdom card of the day.
I think it's my turn.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude.
I think it's my
do it
turn.
up.
Give it a little shuffle here.
What do we got?
How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Anne Frank. Anne Frank.
One more time.
One more time?
No. Read it one more time.
Oh,
and it's
man.
gone. Anne Frank's gone forever.
How wonderful it would be that nobody need to wait a single moment to change the world. I got a mind like a steel trap. Anne Frank. No need to wait, ladies and gentlemen. The time is now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little notification button down at the bottom of the screen so you guys don't miss a beat. Here on
Crypto Cosm.